Now, for quite some time now, people have been asking me during live streams if I could do a video on how the bomb flowers actually work. By the way, to see one of those streams, just go to the channel on Friday night from 9 PM to 12 PM European time. Clicking the bell also helps. But back to the topic. How do these strange plants even work? It's never really explained in the games after all. So, I would say, let's find out! Now, bomb flowers are first seen in Ocarina of Time, appearing exclusively on Death Mountain. Referred to by the Gorons as their special crop, they are said to be mining plants, and the fruit of the flower is the raw material for regular bombs. When Link is a child, bomb flowers are too heavy for him to lift without the aid of a Goron bracelet. Although very rare on the mountain itself, they grow wildly within the Dongo's cavern, as the warmth and dim lighting presents ideal conditions for their growth. For example, near Goron City stands a lone bomb flower and a Goron devotedly protecting this rare flower from the sun. Clearly, they're very proud of these plants. It's a huge part of both their culture and economy. They are also seen growing in the Fire Temple, suggesting that they can even survive in volcanic temperatures. Their fibers are also claimed to be one of the two materials from which Goron tunics are made, the other being the Dongo scales, in order for them to be heat resistant. Overall, this plant is extremely weird and almost all the claims made about it are quite conflicting with each other. For example, why can't it stand in the sun? Plants need that for photosynthesis, which is a process where they turn sunlight and some other stuff into energy for themselves. So maybe that's because of the heat of the sun? Well, no, because it's even found in the crater of a volcano and is used in a heat-resistant armor. But if we put it in a bomb and add a way to ignite it, then it can explode thanks to the heat from the fuse. So really, in a lot of ways, this already doesn't make sense, and in later games it gets even worse. Because in Wind Waker, it seems to be more common than in past appearances, and no longer requires a shaded area to grow. And in even later games like A Link Between Worlds, we even see a bigger one with even more explosive power that can be hauled around without the chance of exploding, unless you hit it. So overall, how it functions and its growing conditions are all over the place, and there's no solid line to follow even. All we can say is that they are explosive, and if you disturb them, there's a chance they will go off. Which probably means whatever is in there is highly unstable. We see this in some other living bombs as well, like bomblings from Twilight Princess. They appear as enemies in the Forest Temple, and if startled, they will self-destruct after a short amount of time. So because this being exists, there's proof that creatures and plants with this quite special ability are actually a more common thing in the Zelda world. However, with this power being seen more often, what causes these organisms to have such odd abilities? Well, this is where it gets really tricky, because it's never shown in the games how explosives are made, or what's inside one of these plants or creatures. For this, there's only one place we can look: The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild ingredients list. It's the easiest and fastest way to see all the possible unstable materials in the series. Also, little side note, I did check the stuff that was seen in Triforce Heroes when it comes to ingredients, but I couldn't find anything interesting really. However, in the most recent title for the Nintendo Switch, there's a certain material that could make sense of all of this. In the game, there's an enemy which can have all kinds of different elemental abilities. The Choo-Choos, who come in different types, and when defeated, a jiggly substance known as the Choo-Choo jelly is dropped. And the fire one is especially interesting, because it constantly gives off heat and is extremely sensitive, because if it's struck, it will just explode and flames will be everywhere. It could be that the bomb flower and bomblings are quite similar to Choo-Choos in a way, having some sort of jelly or substance in them that can be used as a fuel for an explosive, which is also highly unstable. This could possibly explain why they would be heat resistant as well. They can't explode for nothing after all, and it would help protect the inside from the heat of a volcano, for example. If this is really how it works, then it's also quite logical why Hylians can make normal bombs out of them. Just take the explosive Choo-Choo jelly-like substance and rehouse it into something more usable. Now, how they exactly evolved to become like that is unknown. There's so little information on this, it's insane. To be honest, this is the only in-game answer I could come up with. However, after looking at this and comparing it to stuff seen in real life, I have found another option. What I ended up discovering was most likely the inspiration for this plant seen in the Zelda universe. However, it wouldn't really give a good in-world explanation. Just see this as a bit of a real-life origin and possible answer to our question. And to be honest, it's quite cool. I want to introduce to you a special kind of plant. The sandbox tree, which can grow up to 60 meters. Now these have quite a unique fruit. It's a large capsule with a special trait, explosive dehiscence. And that basically means this. Now these things basically explode and the plant makes them like this on purpose. The seeds can be launched at 70 meters per second or 160 miles per hour. Some sources state that ripe capsules catapult their seeds as far as 100 meters or 333 feet away from the tree. Another name this plant has is the dynamite tree. And the reason for that is the explosive sound of the ripe fruit as it splits into segments. Now all of this is a ballistic form of seed dispersal that flings them far from the original plant, so they don't need other animals to do it for them. For example, what do you think bees are doing? It does this by splitting along a built-in line of weakness in its structure in order to release its contents. Now, there are other plants who do this as well, but this is probably one of the most extreme examples of this. It's quite sick to see, and the fact that this is even possible kind of amazes me. Personally, I'm quite sure plants like this influenced Nintendo into making things like the bomb flowers in the Zelda world. But this time a lot bigger and more powerful. So maybe this is also how the bomb flowers and bomb links function. Their structure is just designed to explode. And if you look at the real life example, then you can see that it's a lot smaller than the stuff we see in The Legend of Zelda. So maybe with its bigger size, it could have more explosive power. Who knows? It could make sense. However, there's one big problem. You couldn't really take them apart and reuse the materials to make a normal bomb. It's not like a normal explosion that uses fuel, but actually pressure of sorts. So turning them into normal Zelda bombs is not really possible. And the fact that sunlight is dangerous to them also wouldn't make sense. So maybe it could be something similar to what we see when attacking fire Choo-Choo jelly. You know what? I will let you decide. Just tell me in the comments what you think, and maybe one day we'll get an answer from the Japanese gods over at Nintendo. Now before you go, be sure to subscribe and click the bell button. YouTube is messing up notifications. We gotta get a grip of this. So click the bell button, subscribe, you won't miss anything, I promise. Lots of kisses, love, and good videos. I swear, please help me out.